Welcome back to Hogs in the Paddock. We're Kim and Del, and this series is all about our journey to tiny house life in the far north of Scotland. We've been settling in at the paddock over the last few months, reflecting on the process and finally sharing the story with you. In the last episode, we stepped foot inside our prefab tiny home for the first time, showing you around on day 6 of the build at the Eco Living workshop in the south of Scotland. This time, we'll be visiting the workshop again to catch up on the build progress, bringing you up to speed on our services connections, and continuing our hunt for the perfect fixtures and fittings. There has been lots of progress with the tiny house build. It is the 26th of February today. We're on our way to the workshop to see how it's going. We've not been there since just before Christmas, so it's been more than 2 months. And that was about maybe a week or so into the build. And then the guys were off on Christmas holidays, and then they had a couple of other installs to do. And then we were away for a month in the Caribbean, working on a couple of sailboats out there. So we've had picture updates, and there's lots that's happened since we were last there. You know, there's walls, there's a roof, there's internal walls. We can see the cupboards and things like that. So buzzing to see how it's going. And even since the last picture updates, apparently the wiring's in and they were starting to put down the tiles in the bathroom. So there's going to be lots to discuss and to see today, and big changes. So pretty buzzing. And you?
I don't have much to add to that.
As excited as ever, though.
Yep.
The last time we saw our house, the roof wasn't built yet. So the most striking change for us was to step inside and really get a sense of the internal volume. The ceiling height varies between about 2 and 3 metres, with sloping ceiling panels at a variety of angles. It makes the upper part of the interior really interesting to look at, and the high ceiling makes it feel very spacious at both ends of the house. The other most notable change for us was seeing our bedroom cabinetry, mezzanine office, and kitchen units shaping up, with each space really coming to life. Your first ever coffee in our kitchen, Del. We'd watched our bathroom walls go up on our first visit, and this time round, the tiling had begun. We'd been umming and ahhing over where exactly the tiles should extend to, and whether to paint parts of the wall. But in the end, Sam and the team had decided just to tile the whole space, which I initially thought would be a bit much. But actually, it was the right call, as we love it. We couldn't quite picture what the sink area would look like though, with Sam cautioning against a timber surface under the sink, as it would likely get water damaged over time. The running plan was to have a black tile similar to our floor tile under the sink. So we trialled this look to get a feel for how the materials and colours might come together.
I like that contrast of the slate effect next to the birch, and with the green tiles behind. I just feel that having the green tiles underneath this, as well as like up the wall, would be too much.
Del liked the contrast, but it wasn't sitting quite right with me. So, a decision to be pondered. Fueled up with coffee, we got stuck into discussions with Sam and Maggie, talking through our list of questions and various ideas. We settled on where exactly we wanted tiles in the kitchen, deliberated over curtains for longer than you could imagine, and decided on where we wanted wiring in the ceiling for pendant lights. Del and I couldn't find an off-the-shelf light that we both liked for above the breakfast bar come workspace, so we asked Sam to custom make us one. We bounced around numerous ideas for said breakfast bar, with a notion of Echo building it to be a multifunctional piece of furniture that could extend in size, height and position. Thinking through where Del could store his laptop and other bits and bobs at the end of the day, we decided on adding more drawers under the kitchen unit, where the kickboards would usually be, and discussed the practicalities of having a wall-mounted monitor. Since our last visit, we had settled on the idea of a projector instead of a TV in the living room space. So we talked more about the position and max possible size of a screen. While Tam continued tiling in the bathroom, Mark, Jack and Lewis were working on closing up the exterior walls of the house with sheathing board. This covers the 200mm of sheep wool insulation that we have all around. So this will be my mezzanine office with a bit of a better looking ladder than this one. So I'll come up here, looking over into the bedroom. There is a nice big shelf here. You can put books. I have plants, and I've just realised it's actually wide enough for me to like sit on as like a separate kind of nook. Obviously, you'd have to be a bit careful not to fall over here. Maybe we could even raise that up a little bit. But that's great. And then 2 big Velux windows here, so loads of light. And a massive desk. I love it. And we're gonna climb into our ugly storage area here, as in the storage for ugly stuff. And a bit of a door there. This is great. I was very excited for my wee office and decided on cork flooring for this space to add warmth and texture and create a point of difference to the wood flooring throughout the rest of the house. Sam suggested adding Forbo furniture linoleum to the desktop, something we'd never heard of, but it looked good, so we ordered some colour samples to think over. We left Echo with a list of things for us to research further and make decisions on, such as a projector screen, a wall lamp for above the sofa, and a possible monitor and flexible arm bracket for Dell's workspace at the breakfast bar. Over the next couple of weeks, we chose various Arezzo brush brass fixtures for the bathroom to match our Arezzo shower, including towel rails, a tap, and a toilet flush button, and found a perfectly sized mirror with inbuilt lights and defogger to be hardwired above our sink. We decided brush brass sockets and switches would best match our colour scheme throughout the house, and bought, and subsequently returned, a whole load of options to check the tones against our palette. For once preferring the cheaper ones out of Screwfix than the posh stuff being advertised to us on Instagram. We spent a good 3 hours on a crash course in curtains at John Lewis, discovering all the many options for heading styles, colours, fabrics and linings, and pricing up the cost of made-to-measure curtains, walking away with no decisions made and a whole load more questions. On the Groundworks side of things, we made some progress with our connection to services. About 2 months after our formal connection request was submitted to SSEN, we received the quote for our electric connection, and it matched the lower end of the initial estimate, coming in at £5,107. We accepted the quote, made the payment, and provided the project manager with contact details for the owner of the field behind us, in order to arrange a wayleave agreement. The quote letter stated that it typically takes 7 months to complete the connection from the date the acceptance is received, and we just had to hope that the job would be completed sooner, as we would likely have the tiny house on site within 4 months. We also made the payment of £1,150 to Scottish Water for our water connection, with the next step being a pre-start site meeting for Scottish Water and Kevin Ross, our local groundworks contractor. We couldn't wait to see our tiny house again, and headed back to the Echo workshop in mid-March for our 3rd visit, about 2 months into the build process. It is Monday the 17th of March 2025. We're back at the workshop again down in Dumfries to see how the progress is coming along with the house. It's only been about 3 weeks maybe since we were last here, but we're just buzzing to see what's going on. And we had an update from Kevin, our Groundworks guy up at the Paddock, and he started the Groundworks yesterday, the day before, 2 days ago, so yeah, lots of changes. So I can see that there's a boiler that's gone in, but it doesn't look that different on the outside, so let's see what's been happening on the inside. On the outside of the house, a wind-tight and weatherproof breathable membrane had been added on top of the sheathing board. This allows moisture to escape out, but doesn't allow any moisture in. Our Ecol apple pie stove had arrived, which fits neatly into the corner of our living room area, with a direct air intake and twin-walled top flue. Mark had been busy in the metal workshop fabricating a plinth surround for the stove, which will raise it off the floor for ease of use and give us space for storing logs underneath. He'd also built 4 lifting brackets to be bolted to the house for its transportation from the workshop to our plot at the Paddock.
What's there? So yeah, they're a wee bit more heavy duty than what we normally do.
So our flooring has gone down since the last time we were here. Beautiful beautiful rustic oak, I think it was, engineered hardwood flooring. So this has all the electric underfloor heating underneath it. Yeah, it's looking good. Nice wide boards, and I think they just go the whole length of the house. That's cool. Lewis is currently working on the kitchen area, and the boiler's gone in.
It's not a boiler.
Oh, water tank.
Yeah. Immersion heater.
Immersion heater, yeah. With the possibility of hooking it up for solar in the future.
Thermal.
Thermal solar. So this will be our kitchen. There will be a breakfast bar there, so ignore that for now, because that's not in. This will be integrated fridge freezer here. Pull-out pantry. Pretty cool. Apparently they had to like customise this a little bit because it was too tall, so they've ended up chopping off a bit of the top and then welding it on here or something. So that'll be for all our bits and bobs, spices and all that jazz. We've got a shelf here. Lewis is just about to put up another shelf here, so that'll be all our nice like pottery and glasses and things like that. Some stuff which we've already bought, other stuff which is just all up here that I'm wanting. They have put in this Himax worktop since we were last here. This is like solid, bulletproof stuff. Nice push, soft touch up here cutlery drawer. And then we'll have like front bits. Oven's going here, and it'll be like a little combination microwave oven, grill. Try and get as many purposes out of one item so it doesn't take up space. I guess that's where our pots and pans and stuff will be living though. And there will be a induction hob going here. And originally in our design we had the sink here, and then the hob was going to be over here. But we decided to switch it because, well, a couple of things. The hob was going to be kind of too close to the wall and you wouldn't really have enough room for your pot handles and all that stuff. But also, what I quite like about an induction hob is it stays pretty flat, so when you're not using it, it just becomes part of your sort of work surface. So having all of this as like work surface prep area is pretty handy. It just keeps it all contained to one place. And the window will be there, so when you're cooking you've got a nice view. And there'll be like an extractor fan here and stuff. Yeah, so it's coming together. Nice underslung sink, I believe that's what we call it. Be a nice little spot. Oh look, and these are like, so the dead cupboard, it's always like what do you do with a dead cupboard, right? Because you can't really access that space there, but we've got these like swing out tray things which we'd seen in a few people's houses recently, and we were like, oh that's pretty nifty, like a kidney bean shape. So I'll see that they're there. Yeah. Coming together.
Inside the house, Jack was well underway with the wiring for the electrics, with sockets positioned to serve our specific needs for laptops, monitors and a projector, along with all the usual suspects. Our chosen living room wall lamp had arrived at the Echo workshop, so it was time for another unboxing to make sure we liked it before it was hardwired in. Sam had raised the point that we might struggle to pick up an internet signal with an internal Wi-Fi router because of the metal cladding surrounding our house. So we discussed adding in an extra duct to the electrics hub to allow for cabling for an external 4G signal receiver. Del and I had also been thinking a lot about the practicality and visual impact of a wall-mounted monitor for his work area, so we mocked this up in the space to talk over. While researching options, we'd come across a portable screen, which, although smaller, would be much more versatile and travel-friendly, something that could be packed away out of sight when not in use. Comparing the two options, a large screen permanently on display in our kitchen living space started to seem like a completely bonkers idea.
I have to say I hate the idea of that being there. Just so dominant in the space and permanently living there.
I think I agree.
I think we should get the smaller screen, which is more expensive but more versatile for you and doesn't take up all the space on that wall. Can we rub out the pencil marks?
Okay, let's just say we're not going to put anything there then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. This will be our front door, opening out the way to maximise the space on the inside. And this is like a little sliding door here. sure that'll be smoother when it's finished.
It's not been fixed properly.
Yeah. So yeah, a little sliding door. So this is like our little lobby entrance area, and the thought behind that was to keep drafts out of the house and whatever. And the washing machine is going to fit in here. There'll be a space for shoes, hanging coats and stuff like that, and all the electrical stuff is going to be there as well. So yeah, small but perfectly formed. This will be our living room. So this is where the sofa bed is going to go. And it took ages to find a sofa bed that was going to fit in such a tight space, and actually in the end they had to like move this wall so that we could get a 2 metre wide sofa bed in the space. I haven't actually even seen it yet, just sort of ordered it online hoping that it's going to look good, but we have got the colour mustard, a rather elegant burnt curry as the cover, and we have seen that and I love it. So that'll be here, and then today we've just been talking more about basically how we're going to watch TV, and there's no space for a TV, so it's going to end up being a projector that's going to sit on this shelf up here, and then there's going to be a projector screen that will come down here in front of the curtains. So we're going to order the screen, and then they're going to build some sort of unit to house it basically. So in the end you'll be able to sit on the sofa here and watch a big screen. Oh, our shelf's going up, how exciting. But we definitely have stuff that we do not want like on show all the time and need stored somewhere. So building in a kind of dedicated storage area was very important to the design. So basically this area up here is all going to be closed off and essentially like attic storage, and it'll have a door on this side, and there's a door from the little mezzanine office area as well. So that's where we're going to put all like the kind of ugly stuff, or stuff that we don't need to use day to day, like, I don't know, our camping gear and stuff like that's probably going to live up there. And then this was also designed to be storage, and it's quite a big area. But when we came in and saw it without the doors, like, we and Sam and everyone agrees that it's actually really nice as an open space, because you can see the shape of the roof, and you just have this sort of nice big volume, and actually as like a kind of open shelving area it would work quite nicely. So I can imagine, you know, some plants up there and I don't know, roots, whatever. Big stuff in the kitchen, I don't know, like a big wok or stuff like that maybe doesn't fit in drawers. So we haven't gone through all of our stuff yet that is in my mum and dad's attic and basement. Fingers crossed, once we've gone through it, chucked out a bunch of things, for sure that is going to be enough storage space and we can keep this open. But that's the plan for just now anyway. So this is going to be our bedroom. This will be a massive window, a fixed pane window, and there'll be a door here which is like the kind of, technically like an emergency escape door, but it will just be a nice door which hopefully will go out onto a deck at some point. And then we've got this wee window here which you'll be able to look out of when you're lying in bed. So we'll have a king size bed here. The guys are going to make us like an Ottoman lifting bed, so we've got a bunch of storage underneath it. Jack is busy putting in our sockets and switches and stuff just now. We have spent way too much time in Screwfix this last couple of weeks, trying to decide between like different colours of switches and what we wanted. But we eventually nailed it down and he's putting them in now. That's going to be our bedside reading lamps. I guess they'll be on a dimmer control, so we've got some dimmer switches here. Sockets, USB, so I can finally plug my phone in at night and charge it during the night and not always be running out of battery. This is going to be our cupboard area with all of our clothes storage. So this will be our hanging wardrobe area. I believe it's 1.4 metres high, and this is how we were able to get the mezzanine office area into a house that is only 3 metres high, because we don't need stand under here, so it's quite clever design with a little office up there and then using the space for the hanging wardrobe stuff. And then this is going to have 4 drawers and then a big drawer at the bottom for dumping our laundry or whatever. So that'll be like where Dell's socks and his pants are and stuff like that, you know. And then this is the shelf of the mezzanine office, which you can actually like sit on. It's quite wide. I think it's a nice little bench, but I don't trust myself on these stairs. Oh yeah. This is going to be my office area. So this will be the desk. And yeah, they were suggesting maybe putting on this stuff called furniture linoleum, Forbo. Because it just feels quite nice and it adds a little bit of texture and it's quite nice for just having as the surface of the desk. So I've got the colour olive and pistachio to check out. I think they look quite nice. Also, linoleum is from Kirkcaldy, which is where I was born and my mum's side of the family are all from, so that feels like a nice little touch to include in the house. Bit of wee Kirkcaldy heritage in there. I think that might be nice. There's so much wood in this place that having a pop of colour could be quite good. I'm worried that this would just get mucky too easily. The bright one, the light one. I think that's nice. This is actually kind of the colour of the blinds for the Velux windows. I think this will work quite nice.
So it might be quite nice to have something different.
Yeah, I think the dark is a good shout. Otherwise it would just be birch ply, which is really nice, but it would be a lot of wood, you know? So this will be... It feels like that's going to be a really small seat.
That's what I thought.
Maybe it's just a regular sized seat, but it just feels small. I don't know. I'll just try that out.
Well, you wouldn't be sitting that low.
I don't know.
No.
Like there. Oh, that's working my calf muscles. Bloody hell.
But you see, your legs are still well below the desk.
That's tough. Right. Anyway, I'll be here. This will be my space. And we're gonna have the cork floating in here, which is nice. Oh yeah, so they've got there's pipes and stuff going to water sources. So I think the desk will actually sit on top of that, I guess. And then yeah, there'll be some sort of access hatch here for us to get into this storage area. So this is what I was talking about, where all the long-term kind of ugly storage will be in there. So we have to make sure it's going to fit in there, because there'll be nowhere else to put stuff. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a giant shed, and everyone's going to be living in there. This is going to be the bathroom, or it is the bathroom in its early stages. So it is small but beautiful. I absolutely love these tiles. I've been in love with these tiles for about a year and a half now, so it's very nice to see them up on the walls, all taking shape. There's just something about a whole tiled bathroom that it's I don't know, calming, makes it feel quite luxurious as well. The first thing that we really wanted, or the most important thing, was like a walk-in shower area and a kind of wet room feel as much as possible. So this is the shower, where Dell is standing right now, looking in, filming, will be a massive window, which is also the wall of the shower, which I find very exciting. When I first saw that in the plans, I was like, no way, that is so cool. And it has like an integrated blind so that you can still have some privacy when you're showering if you want. So it's like glass, blind, then glass. So that's going to be there. I think I can step here. Okay. So yeah, this will basically be the shower area here. This will be like a little shower seating area. I basically just wanted somewhere that I could like put my leg up and shave my leg easier, because it really does my nutting when you have to like bend down like that, and then I get a head rush. So I mean, it's ended up being quite fancy just for someone for a shave your legs, but it's working. Little niche there for the toiletries and that. There will be a glass panel here, and then the toilet's going to be there, and then the sink is going to be over there. So I think you've seen the sink before, because we had it out of the box a while ago. Big mirror here, shelving and stuff. So yeah, small but beautiful. Oh my god, I love these tiles so much. I'm just going to be like sitting on the toilet for half an hour a day just staring at these tiles. Taking in the beauty, you know. Maybe I'll just bring a chair outside the window and
You don't have to sit on the toilet, you can just be in the bathroom. And
I suppose I could sit in my little shower seat, couldn't I? It's just a convenient place to sit. So nice. And the question of grout, my goodness. All the small details that you don't think about if you're just like moving into somewhere, you know? But when you're building something, it's like so many minuscule details of everything. So like, what colour is this grout going to be? I think we found one though. Oh no, we didn't. That was for the kitchen. We're still looking for the perfect grout colour for this. But yeah. I'd never really given grout much thought, as it seemed to be just a practical component of a tiled wall. But I now realised that your choice of grout colour can have a huge impact on the overall tonality of a tiled wall. And the hunt for the perfect companion shades for our much-loved tiles was on. It's best to see grout samples in real life, so we visited a few tile shops to peruse their selection, compare them to our various tiles and kitchen worktop samples, and narrow down our favourites. We decided on Bal Light Oak for our bathroom walls, Caracol 11 for the bathroom floor, and Caracol 20 for our kitchen. Then I got major grout doubt and changed my mind at the last minute to Caracol 17 for the kitchen, a choice I'm still happy with. I ordered about 5 million Venetian blind samples, and we eventually whittled our choice down to the excitingly named Off-White for our 2 big picture windows in the bedroom and living room, with a similar shade for the integrated blinds in the bedroom and kitchen, and a light silver for the integrated shower window blind. Our curtain saga continued, with us ultimately deciding on 3 individual curtain panels to be made to measure by a local seamstress using a fabric of our choice, with a standard pencil pleat heading. Now we just had to figure out what that fabric choice would be, what on earth a curtain's fullness meant, and how many widths we'd need for said fullness.
We are back looking at fabrics again, still haven't made a final decision on that.
Well, we have decided that we think some sort of sage green, and we're just checking out numerous options. I like to match my cardigan, you see.
Yeah, Biarritz khaki. I think
It's got some potential.
It looks quite nice. Can't decide if it's a touch too cool.
We just spotted this fabric, which is now making us think, ooh, maybe we can go back to the kind of yellowies. I've just done a sudden change of heart on the fabric. What do you think? Do you like that more?
More than what?
More than the greens?
I don't know. I like the green. I also like that.
Asana, Willow, and this is I Live. Okay. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is our winner. Congratulations, Asana Willow. 17.5 metres of you will be joining us at the Paddock. In early April, my parents and eldest brother had a chance to visit our house at the workshop while they were on holiday nearby. And we were excited to hear that the window and door frames had been fitted and the kitchen tiles were up and looking just as gorgeous as we'd hoped. We couldn't wait to see it for ourselves. Absolutely love it. But first, we had to take advantage of an empty at my mum and dad's to confront our life's possessions and scale them down to tiny house size. More on that next time. And please subscribe, like, comment and hype to support our channel and help us reach more like-minded people. Until then, cheerio from us, the hogs in the paddock.